dramatically in their relative sea level rise patterns. And the idea behind presenting them this way is that a community can select a probability level that they feel like is appropriate for their planning, whether it be appropriate for a particular piece of infrastructure that they're planning, or whether it be based on information that they may have or may be getting, their own analysis of literature information about factors associated with sea level rise that they feel like aren't appropriately considered by the IPCC. So that's one approach that a community could take. There was an example in our current planning process of a very astute manager from Port Townsend who was very familiar with sea level rise literature and was sort of the opinion based on that assessment that the IPCC median estimate, in our case the 50% probability level, was too conservative. And so for their planning, they wanted to look at using a higher probability level, something on the order of a 5 or even a 1% for their planning purposes. And the thing about his approach was that he could, he had the capacity and the wherewithal to assemble the justification for doing that. So that's a nice thing about these probabilistic projections, is that it provides the community with flexibility in a way that I think is really attractive. The other advantage of doing it this way is that you can rigorously and mathematically incorporate the flooding probabilities. In our case, we did it by taking tide gauge data, pulling out the highest water of every year, and then fitting a distribution to that. That's what's shown at upper left. In this case, it's for Friday Harbor. The plot's not very good. I apologize for that. But essentially, you can then directly mathematically combine the sea level rise distribution with the flooding distribution. And so it avoids having to pick, for example, a return frequency interval that you're going to map, and essentially expresses the probability that water level will reach a certain elevation above mean high water at least once in a year. And so that's shown graphically at lower right.